Hello, welcome back to the PoddiMouths podcast. I am Peyton Cubic, and this is where my dad and his friend John talk about random stuff in life or the things they found on the internet. I hope you enjoy listening to this episode as much as I did. Here they are now.
Talk about the news. Forget it.
We're not going to talk about the news. Well, it depends on if you consider, 3 inches of snow in Nashville part of the news.
We need to talk about that.
We don't need to. Let me.
Oh no.
Oh no.
We need to.
Oh no. I got a coworker who's from Texas.
Do you?
And my feeling on Texas. I've made it abundantly clear that it's not my favorite state in the union, but it is what it is. I'm looking for pictures right now. I'm trying to pull them up on my screen because I want to talk about the snow. But he was here for our for a meeting we had, and now he's stuck.
Oh,
and he was talking about getting stuck. So
stuck
he's
stuck somewhere
here.
else? Oh.
No, he's stuck here. And I was talking about getting stuck, and he was, kind of upset about it. And I'm like, and this was in a text message, you could be in worse places like Texas.
Nice.
It didn't go over very well.
What a shocker.
I know. But let me see.
From Texas originally?
Sort of.
Oh.
Sort of.
Okay. Which means you don't know for sure.
Well, I think he was born I don't remember if he was born in Texas and they moved to Illinois, or he was born in Illinois, but he is from a Texas family that just happened to have moved there he's been back and forth from Texas.
Texas
he went to college in Texas is home.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So here is this is the view out of my office window right now.
Wow. Oops, that's the current. Yeah. I like your snowman current. Too.
Thanks. Well, that was the next one I was going to pull up because that's Peyton's snowman.
Wow.
So you see the snowman. That's our front yard.
Pretty good.
So,
That
Peyton,
is a pretty good snowman.
Well, it's coming from an artist,
Well, that's true. I guess that's an excellent point.
And
honestly, the bridge of the nose is impeccable.
Yeah. Well, I gave her a bigger carrot, and she made Jen go in and shave it down so it would fit. Because if you notice, it's a fairly small snowman in comparison to everything else. So, but it was well done.
It sure is
well done. We got we got a little bit of snow. By far not our most snow, but definitely some of the earliest snow with this amount of snow at this time of year. And it's actually our second snowfall this year already.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're talking about trackable snow.
Like you actually see it on the ground.
Well, and it stays, or you can walk in
it's still
whatever. Yeah,
it's still here, and it's because it's cold enough. It'll go away tomorrow because it'll be 44 degrees tomorrow. But today is Saturday, folks. If you're wondering what day it is, so tomorrow's Sunday. Yep. It's I always like it, and I was joking with a friend of ours, a friend of the podcast, that as much as I love snow and I love cold, I will say there is an advantage to living in a place like Nashville because you've got the hills, you've got the and they're large hills. We actually live close to the highest point in Nashville. You've got all the hills, you've got the rolling and the trees and a lot of forests. So when it snows, it's gorgeous. It's probably the most beautiful, unless you're talking about up in the Rockies, the most beautiful landscape when it snows and it's cold. But the nice thing is it melts away. And I don't mean that because I don't like snow. I love snow, but I don't like dirty snow.
What happens is you get in places like Chicago or the upper Midwest or Minneapolis, you get snow, and that snow that's there in January is still there in March.
Exactly.
And it's
exactly.
filthy.
It's not, and it's not fluffy. It's it's gray. It's not white.
Yeah.
So there is an advantage, unless you live in the Rockies where it's constantly snowing on top of snow. The snow landscape turns ugly at some point, and it's no fun anymore.
Unless it melts.
It'll be completely gone tomorrow.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's not unlike when we lived in Denver. It was very much like that, except they would get much higher levels of snow. But honestly, within a couple of days, often it was gone.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, it's a foot of snow. And they had gates on the entry ramps to the interstate. They just closed the gates.
Yeah.
They wouldn't say, be careful on the interstate. No, they just shut them. You can't get on. And it would be literally gone. A foot and a half of snow gone in 2 or 3 days. And it's okay. Awesome. Start all over again.
Exactly. And North Dakota has gates like that too.
Mm-hmm.
The difference is it doesn't melt; it just blows away. It all blows into Minnesota.
Yes, it does. Always those west to east winds. Hey, I didn't even think it snowed here. It didn't. It's just coming from North Dakota.
Yeah,
We got no
that's
snow.
it. So true. You should ask your wife. Funny. The Moorheadian.
The Moorhead. It's the Fargon conclusion.
The Fargon conclusion.
Fargo conclusion.
Yep.
She was Fargo. Not. She was. I don't know.
I thought she was Moorhead.
Well,
I thought
Fargo,
she was born.
She was born in Fargo.
Her family was from Moorhead.
No.
Didn't they have to cross the? Didn't you tell me this story, or did I just make this up?
I think you just
they lived in
made it
Moorhead, and they had to go over to Fargo for the hospital.
I don't think they lived in Moorhead. Now they lived in several places, but I think they were in. Oh, what did she? I can't think of the name of the town. I'd know it if she said it. But anyway, she said we used to live in the armpit of Minnesota. Can't think of the name of the town, but it was not Moorhead. But she was born in Fargo. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I have part of that right. I don't remember the full story.
I think it's good that you make up parts of it like that.
Why not? It just makes it a little bit more interesting. She was born in Fargo.
When we first met, I said, "Where were you born?" And we got to the
important stuff.
We just started dating, that sort of thing. So where were you born? And she said Fargo, and I said, "I was born in Fargo." She knew it was downhill, nothing but downhill from there. But anyway, it's pretty funny.
That is pretty funny. That is very, very funny.
Yeah, you got to play that game. But anyway, and it's interesting now, considering both of us have done time in the upper Midwest, that the band of snow like you're getting right now is all south of there. There is nothing to speak of that's north of the Wisconsin-Illinois border. Almost everything else is, that whole band. I mean, maybe there's some coming down or there's some on the ground. But this big band of snow that's coming across
it missed everything up there.
State. Yeah, it missed everything in the north.
And it was a huge band, too.
Well, it was. And it shut down everything in D.C. And, of course, you get a foot of snow in D.C. and they don't know what to do with it. So, they just shut everything down.
I saw another great meme today that said, it's snowy outside. Please stay home. When you learn to drive in sunshine and 80-degree weather, then we can talk about you driving in the snow. Or when you learn to drive in that. Yeah.
I was in Wichita one year for some reason, and they oddly got a snowstorm. And for some reason, I don't know if they just didn't get many or not that to that magnitude, but there were 4-wheel drive vehicles everywhere because it's Wichita. Yeah. And they got some snow and they were all in the ditch.
Yeah.
They were all 4x4s. And you go, hey, it seems like with a 4-wheel drive, I'll be fine cruising along here because I'll be able. Yeah, but you got to stop. And 4-wheel drive doesn't stop any faster than 2-wheel.
No, exactly. I'm going to retread a story because I know we've talked about this before, but when I had the Mercedes.
We've been 7 years, so it doesn't matter.
Exactly. It doesn't matter. And it's all for all the new listeners.
Yeah. And the old ones have bad memories, so it's okay. We love them.
Well, me too. Who's
Nick with again? Oh, yeah.
When I still had the Mercedes before I got the Jeep, I remember we had a major snowstorm, and coming in and out of my neighborhood, there's a massive hill. Like to get to my house, you have to go over a big hill. And I decided 3 days in, and this was still during COVID, so was not a lot of people getting out anyways, but I decided to go to the store because we needed something. And I got in the car, and it was a 4MATIC, folks, so that's a 4-wheel drive or an all-wheel drive.
Yes.
Went to the store, and then I came home, and at the base of the hill, which is another street, but at the base of the hill, all these people were parking their SUVs because they couldn't get over the hill.
They couldn't climb the hill.
And I'm like, And I just start driving up the hill like nothing.
With your Mercedes.
With the Mercedes.
Sedan, not SUV.
C300,
Yes.
And I see this older lady at the top of the hill mouthing, "What the F?" as I'm coming up and over the hill, as they're all walking up the hill, trying to get back to their homes. Now, we had this conversation earlier this week too. I will say there are two factors there. And I completely understand. One, I grew up driving in the snow.
Mm-hmm.
I know how to drive in the snow. I know how to handle all of the stuff that you can get thrown at. And two, I had a very capable German 4-wheel drive car. I don't think I would have gotten up the hill if I had a front wheel drive car. Maybe.
Okay.
I probably could have, but it would have been a little bit more dicey.
Mm-hmm.
And two, most of the people that live in my neighborhood didn't grow up where I grew up. So they don't know how to drive, even with a 4-wheel drive car, in conditions like that.
They're bad drivers is what you're trying to say.
No, I'm not saying they're bad drivers. They just they don't have the experience.
As long as it's dry pavement, asphalt, they're fine.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you've got an inch of ice with snow on top, they're not going anywhere. So I will say, it's no slight on them. I just thought it was funny that.
Yeah, I'm slighting the hell out of them.
Oh, go for it.
Oh yeah, big time.
You go, girl.
They're not my neighbors. I don't care.
Yeah, you want them? You can have them.
Forget it. No.
Yeah.
No. That's and so, but 3 inches of snow. That's respectable.
Yeah, 2 or 3 inches. Yeah,
that's a respectable amount, and it's stuck to the trees, so it's pretty.
It is very pretty. I'm looking at it right now. It's still on the trees.
Very nice.
I love snow. I haven't gone out in it yet, though. That's very disappointing. I was, waiting. I was planning on doing it this morning, but then I ended up waiting for my podcast partner as he was late to get to the podcast.
He had breakfast to eat.
I have not eaten yet, John. That's how important this podcast is to me.
How important? Are you out of food?
No. God, no.
I have no food in the house.
I have no food in the house. No, it'd be very hard for us to run out of food unless there is an apocalyptic moment we've gone through, because we have the dried food.
Same.
Just in cases.
Yeah. We have the stuff that Lisa will. I wanted to walk a fine line when I stocked up on some stuff that was longer lasting, let's say.
Yeah.
And I made it a point to get some stuff that Lisa would never. Hey, you know what? We have all of this. Let's start doing that.
Yeah.
I got stuff that there is no way in hell she is going to ever say. Let's use up some of that, because she just won't. And
but it's there to survive on.
Oh, it is. And I'll bet you if she gets hungry enough.
Yeah. How many days do you think you could go right now? If apocalypse hit and you hadn't gone to the store, how many days do you think you could go in your house right now?
Are you talking food, water?
Food.
Okay. Food, we could go, the two of us, we could go 3 months.
3 months?
Yep.
Yeah, you've beat me. We're dead by then.
Well, I'd save you some.
Well, I appreciate that.
Hurry up, get up here.
Yeah, we'll head your way. We could probably go. I'd say we could safely make it a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the three of you.
For the three of us. And the dogs.
Yeah. The bigger thing for most people is water.
Yes.
And I used to have bigger, like 5-gallon water jugs.
Yeah.
And I think there were 5, maybe 10. I'm not sure. Anyway, let's just say there were 5. I had like 5 or 6 of them. And so you've got plenty of these things, and okay, that's great. And then I read an article that said, you know what, you should just do bottled water.
Yeah.
And that's what you should keep, because it's sealed, it's easy, it has a long shelf life despite what they tell you, and so on. So we started with bottled water, and I have case after case after case of bottled water, and you try to rotate it.
Yep.
And I mean, it's not a crazy amount. It's probably, let's say, 20 cases. And but you know, it's there, and trying to rotate it makes sense. But yeah, is that enough? Probably not. I mean,
no.
If you're talking about just drinking water, that's one thing. Yeah. But if you're talking about showers and all that, it's not.
Right. We have enough water in the house to last about a month.
Mm-hmm.
But that's slowly going away. It's dwindling because we use it. But I went the different route. I decided, you know what? Just it's taking up so much room. I just bought filters. So and I wish I had it. I usually do have it up here. I have one canister that I actually travel with.
Mm-hmm.
So and even when I'm in a hotel room, I'll fill that up with and filter it out. It's fantastic.
I think you've shown me that.
I think I have.
Yep.
And then I have a big one that it holds. I think you put the pouch. You just fill it with any water. It doesn't matter what it is. I think it's a 3-gallon pouch.
Okay.
And then it just drip filters.
Mm-hmm.
So that's. If something were to happen, we just fill the tubs and use that.
Yep. And we have several of those as well in go bags.
Go bags. Yep. Yep.
Just
I do have a life straw in my go bag.
I've got 4 of them or something like that, just because. But what I've gone to in addition is like the pouch, as you said, because it takes up so little space.
Yeah.
And it has the filtration device built into it and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, but yeah, it's so here's a funny thing about the go bag. And everybody, school is out on that whole thing too, because are you ever going to leave your house? Well, I sure the hell hope not. I mean, this is the place you protect, and you know your way around, and you know. Hopefully, you've taken steps to protect yourself there. But how bad would things have to be for you to? Okay, well, you better be prepared. However, my go bag weighs 25 pounds.
Yeah,
and you kind of go, well, it doesn't sound like that much until you strap it on your back. What kind of shape are you in?
Exactly.
So I got a weighted vest now to walk and work out with a little bit. And
that's smart.
Well, I'm not sure it is, and I hope I never, need to. But you need to be in at least decent enough shape to strap the thing on your back. I mean, if you're going to throw it in the truck, that's one thing. But if you can't walk with a backpack, what are you really doing?
So two things about that. One, you are absolutely right. It's not really a go bag because the safest place you can be is at your house.
Yes.
In reality, unless you're in California and it's burning everything down, or hurricane and it's wiping everything out, then it is technically a go bag.
Correct.
We have go bags, but really for me, it's not a go bag, it's a get home bag. Because when I travel, it goes in the trunk, and if something were to happen, then I just strap it on and I walk home.
That's awesome.
I got to turn my heat up because it's getting chilly up in my office again.
That's good.
So that's what my go bag is. And you're right. I mean, mine is probably 30, 35 pounds. And it's a big bag. It's a backpack. It's a hiking backpack. It's what do they call those? It's camping. It's a camping backpack.
A rucksack.
Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah.
But I can strap a whole bunch of stuff to it. It's got a blanket. It's got a sleeping bag. It's got all my food, all my cooking devices. It has a hatchet. Everything you would need. Knives. All your survival gear. Usually, when I leave, it's got some sort of other protection that we won't talk about because we'll get banned from all the places we're on.
No, we won't.
Well, you never know. Ask Colleen Noir.
Noir. Has he gotten banned?
No, he calls it shadow banning, but it is what it is.
That's
all going away too. So anyway, But you're right. It's a go bag, and here's the other thing. That's part of the draw for me to keep a Jeep and a mid-sized truck, which is actually set up as an off-road vehicle. It's not. It's not just a mid-sized truck. It is the off-road.
It will go off-road. Yeah,
it will go off-road. We have those to get away in. That's. I will always have something, even if it's just one little thing. There will be one thing that can go virtually anywhere. Both of those vehicles can.
And with an EMP, they're both trash. So
exactly,
that's the problem.
Unless you just don't turn them on.
That's good. I'll tow it.
Yeah.
With a 75 Blazer, because those probably won't be affected by.
So you're thinking of Lioness, that one scene in Lioness.
I'm probably thinking of that, but I'm not. What
you
was
need
there
to,
one where they had an old?
Yeah, well, they took an
EMP
old truck
safe. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It was a good scene.
I think we just watched the end of it, so I think we've seen the everything that's out currently.
Yeah, that was in the first season.
Yeah. Well, I think. Are we done with the second? I think we're done with the second now.
All right, I'm done with the second. Yep,
two
seasons.
Yeah.
Yep. Gonna watch Jen and I are gonna watch the last episode of Landman tonight. I'm looking forward to that.
I think we have the last one left to go to. That's funny.
Yeah.
We just watched the second to last night, which is awesome. So
I'm excited.
Are they going to do another season of that?
I hope so.
See, I just wonder about those because it's like they get you and they know it. It's not unlike Tombstone, but Ozark was the same way. Oh, it's coming out in April, and then it's coming out in October, then it's coming out in March, and come on, really? They just play with you. Yeah, and so they're brilliant that way. But it just pisses me off. Tell me when it's coming so we can at least be prepared.
Yeah,
but we've
plan
got,
for it.
Like you, we've got plates spinning, many different shows, and we're like, okay, are we going to watch this or this? And then we have our HGTV shows that we wait when they come out, and okay, let's watch this. And if we're trying to fill 20 minutes, we'll watch a Beat Bobby Flay. There are about 1,000 of those. And
see, I'm glad you have and my wife will watch anything. She doesn't really care. She just doesn't pay attention if she doesn't like it. But you know, she knows my happy place, so she'll sit next to me and watch things. But my HGTV isn't really HNG TV. It's actually Magnolia Network.
Oh, okay.
And I think we've talked about this before. I love the farm to table show. Mm-hmm. We just recently talked about this because we were talking about hidden or Lost Kitchen and their in between show. But this is that's one of them as well as Lost Kitchen.
Yep.
That one I can only watch 2, maybe 3 episodes before I'm just sick of it because it really is just retread.
Yeah, same. It's just
retread content. But the farm to table is kind of fun. They have a farm or a ranch. It's a multi-generational ranch in California, in the Santa Barbara area,
and the family has owned it for
has owned it for multi generations. Yep. And one of it's interesting. It's a I don't know if they're 100% Hispanic, but they are a Hispanic family. Mm-hmm. But the matriarch, the one who has the show, you would look at her, you'd never think she's Latin blood in her.
Blonde
hair, blue-eyed.
Yeah, but I wouldn't call her a matriarch. She's youngish.
Well, she's youngish, yeah. But
okay.
I say that because she is the show. The whole show is her. It is her show.
Yeah.
Even though the family has parts in it.
Yes.
So anyway, that's my guilty pleasure. I love that one. And then I can't remember the name of it, but the guy that lives in Montana, he's got a hook for a hand. He's a chef.
Oh,
you know who I'm talking about?
I don't think so.
That one's a good one too, because he uses his hook to help him cook.
Is he a pirate?
No, he's a chef.
By hook or by
I think cook? By hook or by cook, exactly.
That's what I do.
He makes fun of it too the whole time. I think he lost it. I don't know what kind of accident it was. I want to say it was a motorcycle accident.
Can opener?
But I don't. Can opener, definitely a can opener accident. Oh, he's got an attachment for that.
Oh, does he? Yeah.
But that's a good one if you ever watch it, because they're in Montana and they're a self-sustainable farm type thing as well.
Awesome.
It's a good one.
We'll have to keep.
What else? Restoration Road is always good.
By hook or by cook.
I like that.
That's
going to be the new tagline for the show, I'm sure.
I think it should be, if he's making fun of it, especially. But what else are you going to do? Yeah.
Cook with a hook.
Yeah, with a hook.
Next to a crook. I don't know. You've lost me. You've lost me.
Ditto. Oh, moving my gosh. Okay, so those are good shows to be thinking about. While we were talking about ready-to-go vehicles and off-road capable and stuff like that, I'm feeling sorry for myself because of my truck.
Uh-oh.
Well,
a good episode on your truck, by the way, on Motorhead Chef.
Oh, thank you. Motorhead Chef, yes.
I have watched and liked every single one of your videos.
Thank you for that. Thank you. You're too kind.
And if you folks have not, you need to go up to YouTube, look up Motorhead Chef, like and subscribe, and make sure you hit the notification bell.
Please do.
So you know when every new episode
we are up to 138 subscribers now. If you
good for you.
That. Well, it's not. I'm sure it's luck, but I don't understand what drives the traffic. I mean,
your shining personality, your public personality.
No, but my shining personality is in all the videos, and only a couple of them have done well. so it can't be that.
Before you go on, to be fair,
yes,
one thing I like to tell people when you're talking about social media, especially when you're first starting out, everyone thinks that every piece of content should go viral. Yeah, and in reality, only 1 or 2 pieces of anyone, even Mr. Beast, when he was starting out, ever went viral.
Yep.
That one viral will help you get viewers, but you'll probably never see the success of that one thing that went viral.
And honestly, from people who have been really successful in that venue, they don't want their stuff to go viral because then they judge other stuff based on that. Right. And that can be bad too, and it can mess with pay and if you're into it for that. So the point is, though, viral for me was like 1,300 views, and I'm thinking, "Woo, this is really something." But I don't know how it got so many. And
it's probably because I replayed it like 1,200 times.
Thank you for that. Could you do that with the other ones?
Yeah, definitely.
But mostly the analytics showed that it was just suggestions from YouTube. And so, okay, that's fine. How do I get them to suggest? And most of it comes from having proper search terms and keywords and blah, blah, blah. So learning as I go, but thank you for the plug because it's been fun. And I think I've got like 20 videos up by now and some shorts and you've done shorts for PoddiMouths too. Thank you.
I have.
They're looking great and it's fun to see.
Well, I'm not going to take any of the credit because the system, riverside.fm.
Oh, that
and
does
if you're interested in starting your podcast, you should look at riverside.fm. There should be a link in the bio so we can get a little credit.
There will be.
Help us get to season 8.
I hope it's not based on income because we're not going to get there if we're
it's not based on income at all because we are nice guys.
That's why
contrary to what our wives say.
They don't say that
or our
loud,
children
though.
No, not to us, but to everyone else.
Other people, sure.
Yeah. Oh, so my child is in a stage right now where she'll say it to my face.
Will she?
But that's different. Yeah.
Well, we'll bring her on again.
Okay.
The truck, the stupid truck, and I love my F-150.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not familiar with it, listeners,
which one, the model or the full size one?
I love both of them. The model's much cheaper to operate.
I bet.
Yes, the full size one is it's a 2018. It only has seriously 63,000 miles on it. So
wow,
it's next to nothing for one that's coming up on 8 years old, 7 years old. So anyway, the transmission is screwed. And I've had, when it's cold, when it sits and I start it up first thing in the morning, it skips gears when I'm leaving the house. So it's like,
oh no.
So it's out of gear. So I know when a transmission is going bad. And this one is, and it's a 10-speed electronic automatic transmission. And apparently they've had trouble with them.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
So it's still under warranty. It has
that was going to be my next question.
100,000-mile warranty on it, and so here I am waiting. The problem is I've contacted 4 Ford stores now.
Mm-hmm.
None of them can get it in to have a transmission guy do any work on it. Not one of the 4. And the guy I talked to yesterday, he said, we can look at it and see if we can diagnose that it's really a transmission problem we need to get at. But he said, then we're probably 4 months away.
Wow.
4 months before they can do something with it.
What's your next course of action? Are you thinking about trading it in, get something different?
I kind of am a little bit, but I didn't want to be in the market for vehicles. I love the truck. But so I don't know. I think my first thing is what?
I was going to say, if you're an avid YouTube watcher, as I am, and you watch what a coworker coined as the pundits, which it's anyone who makes contents about vehicles on YouTube. He called the pundits
without an N. Pundit.
Well, he didn't say
Continue.
that. So
wrong.
I'm quoting him.
Yes, he's wrong.
Anywho,
let's fix that. Yes.
There are a lot of Ford dealers with a lot of Ford trucks who are willing to make a lot of really good deals now.
Yeah.
They are oversaturated. There are too many on the lot. They're too expensive. So they're taking like 30, 35% right off the top.
Well, that may be an option, but my first step is going to be to contact Ford and find out, what the actual hell is going on with your vehicle. Because I should not be inconvenienced by this. And you and I have been in the car business, around the car business long enough that, I know better and they need to pony up something.
Yeah.
So I don't know what their solution is going to be, but I'm not waiting. And the guy goes, I said, so I can just leave it at home? And then he says, no, it needs to stay here for 4 months on your lot while it just rots. I have no idea. But he said, yeah, because it's kind of a physical lineup. And oh my gosh.
What the hell?
I said, finally, so if I were looking for a new career, it'd be a really good idea to become a transmission tech, right?
Right.
And he goes, he said, I'd pay you whatever you want. I said, would you pay me a new Ford truck? Because that's kind of what I'm thinking is going to, anyway. Just frustrating. And instantly, as you thought about it immediately as well, it puts me in the mindset of, do I have to be in the market again to buy another vehicle, suddenly forced into it because they can't service their own vehicles? So that will be my rampage as I'm talking to somebody from Ford.
Yeah, that's no fun.
But I love the truck. And so that's the bottom line. Well, other than the fact they can't seem to fix it.
Would it make you defect from Ford?
If I had a Chevy, I'm not sure it'd be any different, but I think they probably have, if I did some research, which I will, some track record of problems with this particular transmission.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And you never really know. My dad used to be a big Chevy guy as long as I can remember. Chevy. That was every single truck he had, whether it was a small one or a big one, it was always a Chevy. And I think he had a couple of transmissions drop out of one. And then there was one time, same truck, he was driving back. I think he was either somewhere in Texas or Mexico, driving back. And the transmission dropped out one more time as he was pulling a horse trailer.
Oh, good.
Just happened to be in front of a Dodge dealer.
Wow.
He traded it in, has had Dodges ever since. Now, Dodge does not have a good reputation for transmissions, but he's never had a problem with it.
I had trouble with my Jeeps.
Yeah.
They always we had a
engines are bulletproof, transmissions are not.
We had a Cherokee and a Grand Cherokee, and both of them had transmission problems. And you don't want to lump everything all together. They're machines. They can all have problems, but when it's the same one and the same brand we loved both of those vehicles. Yep. Remember the old boxy Cherokee style?
Oh, I love those. My mom had one. She had a ton of trouble with hers.
Good. Yeah.
She blew out rotors. She blew out rotors. Probably, and they shouldn't have been. It wasn't like she was riding her brakes hard. No. They would blow out after like 3 months.
Oh, jeez.
And they'd have to replace the rotor. I don't know. I don't remember, but I remember she had so much trouble that she ended up selling it or trading it in after about a year and a half.
Wow.
But it was a great car. When it was working, it was a fantastic vehicle.
That's the whole thing. They're perfect when they're working.
Yeah.
Less so when they're not.
I made this joke, I think, on the last episode, if not the one before that. The Jeep. Well, no, maybe it was a conversation I was having with someone. I get my PoddiMouths conversations confused with some of the other conversations I've had.
Crushed right now.
Because they're all so fascinating.
Yes, they sure are.
But I said to somebody, you don't buy a Wrangler because it's a good vehicle, because it's going to last forever. You don't buy a Jeep Wrangler because it is a quality vehicle. You buy a Jeep Wrangler for the fun and for the ability to. Oh, it would.
Wouldn't it be nice though?
Well, we were actually having a price conversation because they're so expensive now, and they don't need to be.
They are.
They are. When I bought mine, when I leased mine, I actually was comparing it to a car that cost the same. That just happened to be a Mercedes SUV.
Okay.
Brand new.
Yep.
They were the same price.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, I know what I'm getting when I buy that Mercedes. Yes. And I know that I'm going to be treated a certain way, that the quality is a certain way. And I also know what the repair costs are going to be. Yeah. They're going to be astronomical if I ever have to repair it during my lease.
Yes.
And that's a pretty big if.
Well,
whereas the Jeep, for the same price, I know it's going to rattle. I know it's going to have problems. I just love it too much. I'll take it. Yeah, exactly. And people are probably listening to him going, "You idiot." Well, yes, I am an idiot when it comes to the things I love.
But you're a Jeep slut, and let's face it.
I am a major slut. I'm the biggest Jeep whore you'll ever meet. No, I'm not the biggest. I'm pretty big, but not the biggest.
There are others. Yeah.
Lots of others.
Our friend Mike is... He likes his Jeeps too.
He does.
And I understand that. And I understand, especially when you get into a brand specific thing like that, where you really are the brand is endearing to you,
Yes.
Because you have you have a history with them.
Well, yeah. And that's very true. So we, again, had a meeting this week and not to name the brand I have that I work for, but I love that brand very much as well. And I said to everybody, I said, I love my Jeep. I am a Jeep fanatic. I will have a Jeep for as long as I can, some way, shape or form. If I turn this one in, I will have another Jeep someday. But the other thing is the brand that I work for, there will always be one sitting in my garage because it's a great car. It's a great brand. So I'm stuck pretty much with those two brands. If I ever get a truck, I would probably do a Ram because that's what I quote unquote grew up with, even though we had Chevys before that. But those two brands, I will always have those two brands in my garage in
my
one way, shape, or form.
My brother-in-law got his first Ram. I think it's his first one. and he cannot say enough about it. He's just
Really?
so disgustingly giggly excited about it, and now he's probably owned it for a year or so now, but it's decked out the way he wants, and he's just like, I gotta show you this, and it's, oh my gosh. And he's not, he's very quiet and not like that at all, but he's giddy about
there
about
are
his Ram.
some. I'll even say about the brand that I'm not mentioning, after 3
Can we
after
call it
3 years,
Voldemort?
Yeah.
The brand
we'll
shall
talk
not
about
be named.
either that or Bruno.
Okay.
We don't talk about Bruno.
Yes.
But I would say, as much as I do love the brand, after 3 years, I'm ready to get it something new. It's going to be the same brand, but it might be, once it'll be an SUV, then it'll be a mid-sized truck, then it'll be a car.
That's by virtue of what we do. We're
that too,
because we're car people.
Well, yes and no. My Jeep,
you can tell we've been on for a while because the
light
my
has
light
changed.
is starting to die. The light changed, except that's not helping right there. Switch it out. Go ahead, please continue.
But, with the Jeep, I don't really want a new one. I want mine. Now, with money wise and what I can get, I might switch over to a new one.
Yep.
But if I had unlimited funds and I didn't care, I would keep mine. I love mine.
Well, you've said that, and you've talked about ways to continue to have it. And
still working on it.
But you're in the midst of that.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's just weird, and if they were good investments, it'd be one thing. They're all horrible investments.
I can't
the only
really
exception
name many vehicles
is unless you have an old one that is increasing in value, or some exotic like that. Yeah. But other than that, they all are bad.
Someone said this to me, and it makes perfect sense, and I agree with it 100%. Why would you? And this is why this is one of the reasons I lease for the most part, even though I still want one that I can put a ton of miles on because I love to drive. But the main reason I lease is, why would you want to own a depreciating asset?
Well, and that was always my argument for leasing, or one of them at least, until you recognize, though, that there are certain vehicles that people would rather own than lease.
Like a Jeep Wrangler.
Like a Jeep Wrangler, for example, or for me, a pickup. Anything, because I don't know what it is, but it's something about ownership of something like that. I say that just because it refers to us. My brother-in-law leased his Ram, and will he lease another one? Maybe. It depends. If he falls in love with this one, he'll probably buy it, or continues to be in love with it. So yes, it's a fair argument. The point is, for a vehicle, you're going to outlay a certain amount of money, whether you lease it or buy it. It's about ownership, and it costs you a certain amount to own. It may be pennies less or more for a lease than it is for a purchase, but when it's all said and done, it just matters. What does it cost you in all things? Insurance costs and depreciation, if that applies, and so on. So it's never cut and dried, but it's important to look at all of it, because cost of ownership is way more important than your monthly payments.
Did I tell you the interesting thing is, I thought my insurance would go down when I got the Jeep after I traded in the Mercedes, and it actually went up. Didn't go up by much, but it actually just a little bit. I was surprised at that.
Yeah. I don't know what drives it. I'm not sure of anything. I don't know what drives it, other than maybe their historical,
the use of them, probably.
Yeah. Well, what other drivers do and what the claims are, I'm not sure.
I would be surprised if many, unless it's a true accident, if many Jeep owners actually submit insurance claims, especially.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
If they're rock climbing and it rolls over, no, they just usually push it up and then go get the body repaired.
But that's another thing maybe about the own versus leasing when it comes to Jeeps, is when you have a Jeep, you want much. Well, no, but you want to add stuff to it. You want to get the bright lights and the light bar, and you want to get all the stuff that goes along with it too.
Yeah. Oh, I know exactly the first 2 or 3 things I'm going to do to that thing if I buy it out.
There you go.
I know it's inevitable.
But you're not going to do it when it's a lease, because you can't residualize it, and B, they don't allow it, or You certainly won't get any money back for it.
Well, they'll allow it if it can be removed without damage to the original vehicle.
Or you just don't get credit for it if you leave it on. So if you put a winch on, for example, and leave it on, that's just money out of your pocket. I don't think they'll ding you for that. I could be wrong, but
I don't think. Well, it depends.
As long as it doesn't negatively impact the warranty, I would think it's fine.
Yeah. So if you drill a big hole and put on the side and put a snorkel on, that's gonna affect
a snorkel. Might be a problem.
Yeah. But if it's something that just bolts on and that you can remove because they already have bolt holes, which Jeeps have bolt holes for certain things. Yeah. Then you can. Yeah. I actually had that conversation. I think I told you the service manager recommended a third party part to fix something that I need fixed, and I said, "Doesn't that I can't do that with the lease?" And he said, "Oh no, I would give you the old one, and you'd have to come back in and take that one off and put the old one back on before you turn in the lease.
Wow, and
it won't affect it." I'm like,
"Yeah,
okay."
Didn't you put a snorkel on your Mercedes?
Yes, I did. Absolutely. I took something from one of those kids' mask and snorkels and just taped it on the side.
Yes. Bloop, 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 bloop.
That was a great car too. I love that car.
It was a nice car. I saw that car and it was very nice.
Rode in it.
I did. Well, I saw it from the inside.
Yeah.
And the outside.
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
Well, it's not like you made me. Yeah. Close your eyes. You can't look at the outside.
Right. On that note, John.
That is a good note.
That is a good note. Folks, if you haven't been up to the website in a year, you should, or at least this year.
Yeah.
And check out some of the things that are up there. Because guess what? I said on the last podcast this last week that I would put John's YouTube channel on the website, but it might take me 6 months. I did it in a week. It's up there. There is a link to his page.
Freak show.
I am a freak show. But you can see some of our other past guests up there, including Mr. Taylor and Mr. Schaffner. We've got links, Tay and Schaff. I don't know.
Schaff.
That's not a good name. So, head up there, check out those links, but also check out the merch store. And please order some merch because it's fancy. I'm not wearing mine today. I'm wearing a Minnesota sweatshirt. But
yes,
I haven't ordered. I need to get a PoddiMouths sweatshirt. It's been cold there in Florida.
I thought you had like a hoodie.
I have a hoodie, but it's not a sweatshirt. It's a thin one.
Okay,
something I'll probably wear more actually in the summer than I will in the winter.
All right,
unless it warms up. Anyway,
so tune in then.
Tune in then. You obviously, if you're listening to us, you're probably listening to us somewhere, whether it's Spotify or Apple Music or Google
or Podcasts
or YouTube. But if you haven't liked and subscribed, please do so because that does help us. Speaking of algorithms, we are trying to increase our footprint.
Yeah,
and will also help John's other show.
That's true because
he linked to you. He linked to PoddiMouths.
I
was pressed. Yeah,
and they are both, by the way, on my LinkedIn page too. So
woohoo! Mine too.
Saying.
Well, your other one's not, but my websites all are.
Well, that's good.
Anyway, folks, have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll see you again next week. Same Poddy time, same Poddy channel.
It's Poddy time. See ya.